Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm Tori, and you're tuned into our brand new podcast.
If you couldn't tell, we're sisters.
Yup, identical twins.
Sometimes that means double the hustle and even double the chaos.
In our first episode, we talk about our twin bond since childhood, our twin stinks, the good and bad about being twins.
Thanks for joining us. Come along for the journey. Make sure to like and subscribe to support our podcast. So we are identical twins. We're not fraternal.
Yeah, we're identical, which means that we came from the same egg?
I think so.
And it split? I think. I'm not sure, but anyways.
We should know more about this because we're twins, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. But I think fraternal is two different eggs. And then
yeah, but is it like a fraternal two
separate sexes? And I'm going to school to be a doctor,
too?
so I should know this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think fraternal is two separate sexes also, or no?
Doesn't have to be, I don't think. Oh, maybe. I don't know. But we're identical. And
yes, we are. Can you tell?
Yeah, that's something that I think our eyes are trained to see that we're different, but like I could swear that like to everyone that we don't look the same and everyone cannot tell us apart. Like that is something that
I feel like when we were younger, we looked very similar.
Oh yeah, talk about the pictures. Can you tell yourself in a picture from when you were younger?
No, I can't.
Me
the
neither.
only way that I would be able to tell myself in a picture, normally our parents or our mom or dad would write on the back like Anna, Victoria on the background silhouette of who's on the back of the picture and what side they're on. So that's the only way I would be able to tell. I really can't tell.
Which our parents are better at that, telling who's who. We would always go and say, oh, who's this one? Who's that one?
Who's that one? Yeah. And I also had a double tooth. Remember my twin tooth that was stuck together on the bottom?
And they came out both at the same time?
Yeah. And they were stuck together. That would be also the only way if I was smiling that I would be able to tell. So even in pictures, it's really hard. I feel like as we were young, we looked so identical.
Yeah, I can't tell. When we were younger, I can't tell us apart. Probably, I would say probably until like beginning of middle school. Like I could tell us apart in middle school.
Yeah, I think
when like elementary school, we looked alike.
We looked a lot alike. I think that as we got into middle school, I started to gain a lot of weight, and I think that was the way that people could tell us apart because I was significantly heavier than you. So I think that makes it
for people easier.
Yeah, I think that makes it visible for people.
I never thought about that. Maybe
Yeah, because. I mean, even in pictures, you could just tell right away in middle school who's who.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Just
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Just by, I mean, how we dressed was significantly
but we
different
always
as well.
did dress the same, like up until, I would say, end of high school, like last year of high school into college. Like we always dressed the same, even when we were at Temple.
Yeah, we dressed the same a little bit. I feel like in middle school, I would like try to steal dad's clothes and wear them to school.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would always like try to like separate myself, like I was always trying to wear like men's clothes,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how you can tell us apart too. I feel like in that middle school era was where you could tell us apart.
And I felt like I tried to chase you in what you were wearing. Like, no, to be honest, like I felt like I was like going along with you like for the ride.
Yeah.
But now we kind of pick our totally different styles. Like we have totally different styles now.
I think that it's weird because when we went into high school and into college too, we were kind of similar too.
Yeah.
I lost a bunch of weight and we looked more identical as well. So I feel like we started looking so identical. We went into middle school, didn't look identical. Like we were still identical, but we didn't look identical. You could totally tell. And then we went into high school, and when we changed high schools, people couldn't tell us apart. We were meeting new people, and we looked similar. So it was even harder for them to tell us apart. And now obviously we found
throughout our lifetime, I think it's like a big fluctuation with like kind of everything. People when they're born and they don't have a twin, like find their identity, whatever, establish who they are. Yeah. I feel like we're late to the game of that.
We are very late to the game.
Because we were like one person, like bouncing off each other, two minds, but trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
everybody always seen us as a unit, I feel like. Mm-hmm. no matter where we were, if you were alone, it was like, oh, where's Tor? Or if you were alone, oh, where's Anna? Oh, who's this? What's this one doing? Oh my God, you guys are separate? Holy cow. Why aren't you together? Like,
yeah, and people didn't know who we are, so they just called us by our last name, and they would be like, hey, Trina, and we would turn around because they didn't know who we were talking. We wouldn't know who they're talking to. We would both turn around, or if it was only one of us, we would turn around. So I feel like it definitely was like, it's a fluctuation. Back to the fluctuation thing, like we were together and then separate at certain points. So we looked a lot alike, and then it changes to, we don't look alike at all, and then it changed
but
again.
Even if you think about it, like, we definitely didn't find our identities separate until later on in life. Like, people normally like go through elementary school, go into high school, get with their friends and dress the same and do this and do that. Like, we didn't have friends. We had each other. Yeah. And it was just,
we were trying to do the
like
same thing.
A package deal.
Yeah,
we always
exactly.
wore the same thing, shopped at the same stores, wore the same shoes, sat on sneaker lines to get the same shoes, like we always had to get two of whatever we were getting. If it was, sneakers, whatever, a jacket, you always had to get two. Maybe we'd get them in two separate colors. But we always had to get the same, the same item or whatever it was. There was never only getting one and sharing, because if you messed up my sneakers, I would kill you. And if,
exactly. We would have a huge fight.
So we always had to get two. People say that all the time, like, oh, do you guys share a closet and have double the amount of things? But not necessarily, because
we were different sizes.
Yeah, shoes. A little bit, but we could still fit in the same shoe size.
We could.
And we
but
never
it was more about
shared
the fight.
shoes. Yeah, it was always if you scuffed my shoe, I would have been so mad.
Yeah, that's another good point. Fights. Like, we had fights when we were younger, a lot of them, and some of them got pretty ugly.
Yeah,
but like we would wrestle and like try to get each other to the ground.
I remember one time I grabbed your chain and I snapped your chain off while we were fighting, and your Italian horn was on it and it fell, and you got so mad. And that moment, like a sensation like went through my body, and I felt like
sad,
emotional, like that instant. Once the chain snapped, I was like, oh, that was a horrible idea. But like, I was so mad at you in the moment. Like when I ripped your chain off, like,
it felt good,
like,
but not.
Oh, like that hurts so bad to like hurt you, like in that way. Not that I was trying to rip your chain off. Like, I think we were just fighting and I accidentally grabbed it and ripped it off. But like the emotions just like went through my body, like, I'm going to have to fix that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good point. I feel like fights were bad. Like, we would always get into arguments and try to like wrestle each other, whatever. But like 5 minutes later, we would go outside and play or whatever.
Yeah,
we'd be like, sorry, and
move on. Yeah. But you had to get that anger out in that instant, because when I wanted to fight you, like I wanted to fight you, like you were on my nerves.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
At the end of the day, like, I'm still gonna
we were still best friends.
Walk next
2 minutes
to you
later,
and mess somebody else up if they tried to mess
act
with
like
you.
Nothing was wrong if someone else came around.
What was the youngest thing that you remember about being a twin? Like, how little does it go back for you? I mean, I can't really remember too much besides what people tell us, but the only thing I remember is us wearing the same outfit at Christmas or at birthdays.
I think the first thing I actually remember is, well, at least our bond, how special it is like the first day of kindergarten when we got on the bus, and you wouldn't go on the bus because you were hysterically crying, and I was already sitting in my seat, and I'm like, oh my God, my sister's not following me.
Yeah, I think I ran off the bus. We were dressed in the same outfit. I had a blue one on and you had a pink one on, Superwoman or man shirt, whatever you want to call it. And I could remember, I think we were wearing jean skirts. We can actually show a picture. We have the picture of us standing together.
Okay.
But I was so nervous. And it didn't matter that you were on that bus or not. I was so scared. I ran off the bus. I was not getting on that bus. But I guess that goes into emotions. We feel each other's emotions. That's actually a thing. Like, when you feel upset, I'm like, oh shit, she's upset. That makes me want to cry. When I see you cry, it just brings like a different, it's almost like a motherly instinct, but like for twins. Like,
yeah, I think people don't understand quite, like when you say like twin telepathy, people always think like, oh, you're thinking exactly the same, but it actually has to do with like more emotion.
More of
it's
a
not
feeling.
always like, oh, you know, I can see what you're thinking, but it's always like, if you're upset, like I know you're upset, or like I can feel like what you're feeling. And it's kind of pretty close. Like even going through your relationships or whatever, I can always feel like if you're upset or if you're having a great time, whatever, but it will affect me. Like when you're upset, like I feel like I want to cry too.
Yeah.
I think people don't understand that kind of telepathy part of it. It's always like, you can think the exact sentence that I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like that at all. It's all emotions. It's all what you feel. Even when you were away at college and we were separated, I know that you're upset, that you're not wanting to be there. I knew that you were upset. I knew what you were feeling, and it makes it harder for the other person who's not upset, because it brings the other person down also,
exactly.
you know? So if I'm upset, you know, it makes you feel upset and vice versa. So I think that's something crazy that people would never understand, because people even come up to us to this day, like, do you think the same thing? Or do you, whatever, you know, that's the first question people ask, like, what goes on through your brain, and is it actually a thing? Can we touch fingers and think the same thing, and the electric's going to go through, you know, our fingers the same way, but it's
sometimes
not like that
it is, but mostly it's like more emotion.
Yeah, mostly emotion, like 99% emotion.
Yeah. Going back to school, I mean, even though like, you know, the emotion is in it, you weren't feeling school, it became like a great thing for us. Like we always felt that we had a support system in school. We tried to get the same classes always. And we did homework together. That's a great aspect of being a twin. Like we did everything together, from our homeworks to studying for our tests to doing
except for
projects.
when you were in smarter classes than me.
Yeah. But that was later in high school. So,
but yeah, I do agree. I think that being a twin brings competition to a level that nobody else would ever get to experience. You're always in competition throughout school, whether you have a study buddy or you're playing outside with, you know, you have somebody to always go and play with. I think it impacted us in a great way to how we grew up. You know, we have an amazing bond together, competitive experience, but at the same time, it negatively affected our relationships in
definitely
becoming friends with people. You know,
Totally.
I mean, maybe you can count on your hand how many friends that you actually have. We never needed that. So I feel like that's some way that it did negatively affect us. Do I think it's a bad thing? No, the smaller circle you have, the better. But at the same time, going through school, you never actually had to reach out to somebody. It was never a fear that, oh, I'm going to be alone at school, like, or I'm going to be bullied. You always had somebody on your side. You always had somebody on your team. If you were getting bullied, it's 2 against 1 now. Who's coming to bully the 2 against 1? Nobody.
Right, exactly. And I think that like people don't understand, like when you have that like close knit, like people always look for like their best friend in school. You hear people say like, that's my sister. Like we're so close that's my sister. But like we could never feel that because we had like the same person. So like I feel like I'm never going to get as close to a best friend as a sister, because we have
each other.
We're the same person.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, being in school together, doing sports together, it takes that fear out of things.
Oh yeah,
like you never have to go somewhere alone.
Yeah, because we always want to do everything together.
Even our younger sisters now are scared to do something alone because they don't have anybody next to them. Having somebody who's going to go show up to the soccer field with you, to go through life with you, to do everything with you, you know that somebody is there for you. And that's what people look for, essentially. They look for, you know, just to have somebody next to them, to walk through life with somebody. Even look at relationships now. Like, people want that person to walk through life with. And, like, that's what the human,
it's hard because we have
you
that
search
already.
for a tribe. In human nature, you search for a tribe, and that tribe we never had to search for because we had that somebody always there, somebody always, you know, next to you, whether that was, like I said, going to basketball practice or doing homework together or walking into the first day of school. You know how nerve-wracking that is for little kids?
I totally agree. I was going to say, like, even walking through like a door to a store.
Yeah.
and like I'm nervous, like I'll back up and like you can walk in first.
Yeah.
Like I always do that. Like if
I'll open the door for you. Walk in.
Exactly. So I think that like you literally always have something to do together, and to do, you know, if you don't, you pull your twin with you when you want to do something, and maybe they don't want to, but like you always pull them with you.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it makes you better. Going back to competitiveness, it always brings out the best in you. You know,
100%.
As kids, it was a challenge, you know, always being being competitive, having to like fight for things, or like, you know, like for instance, getting good grades, you know, like you were always smarter than me in school. You were always in the better classes, always doing, you know, bigger things, whether that was AP classes in high school or early, you know, AP classes, earth science in 5th grade instead of 6th grade, you know, like you were always in the better classes. So I feel like even for me, that made me a better person, because it pushed me to be like, oh, you know, Tor's in those classes. I want to be in those classes. I'm not in those classes. Like I was in like the special reading class because I couldn't even read in 2nd grade. So, you know, I think
which is okay, which is fine.
But it made me like a better person. It made me strive to be, you know, better and better and better, because you were always ahead of me. Or even in sports, you know, when it wasn't until we got to rowing that I feel like I was better than you. But in basketball,
when we got older, I definitely tried to chase you.
Yeah,
in sports,
and I feel like it flip-flopped at a point, because when we were young, you were always in basketball, always doing good, always scoring, let's say 20, 25, 30 points in a game, and I was like still at 5, you know? And it wasn't until later in life that I finally, you know, was able to
I feel like when we went to
get
college,
ahead.
Maybe our last year in high school and like through college, like it kind of flip-flopped, and then I was like chasing you. Even in like our classes, like our college classes were all the same. We were doing everything together at that point. We got recruited for rowing, and I was chasing you at that point to even run the mile. You were quicker than I was in that instance, and I was always trying to chase you. Even now, I mean, you run quicker, do it, you know, exercises when we exercise, CrossFit, always are quicker than I am, and now I'm chasing you. But I think that's okay, because I didn't really have anything to chase after, because I was always
when we were young.
Yeah. So when it's flip-flopped, like now we're in our own careers, but like it's chasing in a different way.
Yeah.
But
it's not chasing anymore. It's running alongside.
Yeah.
You know, helping you when you're little, it's chasing. Yeah. You don't know, you know, how to collaborate instead of, you know, challenge each other, bump off each other. But when you're little, we were always fighting to be the best, the bigger person, to get that, you know, on top of the other person. Or even when we were fighting, like as kids, we were always fighting to be the better person, you know, chasing after what's better. And I think as you get older, it is weird how it flip-flops. Even, you know, the stronger twin, you know, whatever, it always flip-flop back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think now being older, like you finally realize that like you can use that to your advantage. It doesn't have to be us fighting against each other. It can always be, you know, us collaborating against each other. Like, oh, you didn't get this. How'd you do better on that? How'd you run faster? How'd you do that? How'd you, you know, whatever it may be. Now we understand how to collaborate together instead of use that as a point to like.
I think that's because we're in different fields now.
Yeah.
That we can't like kind of compete with each other, but we're always pushing each other, even posting on social media or helping each other out. Like it became more collaborative, I would say, which is great. I mean, great for our bond, because our bond was like so tied together that like it was almost one. You couldn't see the difference. Now that we've gotten a little bit older, it's kind of converged a little bit, not much. We still do everything together, but we do different things, and we, you know, have different jobs, and I went to school, you're real estate. So like, it's converged a little bit, but it's kind of made us come back to collaborate with each other.
Yeah, I think it's as a young kid having a bond with somebody, our bond was so tight when we were little. I mean, anywhere from kindergarten to when we went to college. We had to go to the same college together because we were scared to separate. And, you know, it was always a fear in me, like if I leave this person and something happens, to you while you're not with me, like I'm gonna feel so guilty that I wasn't with you. So I was always so scared to leave you. And I feel like it wasn't until I got into a relationship that we split apart.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, I don't know how that felt to you in the beginning, because obviously I got into a relationship, I had somebody else. So it wasn't that much of a impact on me. But I don't know, you know, how did it feel for you?
I think it was very gradual, to be honest with you. Like at first, like this was during COVID. So like everything was shut down. We weren't really doing anything. A lot of things were online. And then you got your tattoos. So like you were always like going out and doing that kind of stuff. And then like, what was it? Maybe a year and a half later, then you got into a relationship. So like, it was not as bad as I expected. I mean, like, you know, we were so tied together that like, so we had to break at some point.
Yeah. And I think it was healthy for us the way that it went,
definitely.
You know? That's why I wanted to ask you, because I didn't know how you felt about it. But at the end of the day, like,
better than I expected.
Good. That makes me feel good. You know, we should talk about the time that we went to like that sleepaway camp in 5th grade. And when we went to that sleepaway camp in 5th grade, like everybody got to choose their own partner, and like we still chose like each other.
But did we sleep?
We slept in the same.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Wait, remind me, because I don't remember that.
We had to sleep in the same bunk beds. Where did we go? I think it's like, you know, every 5th grade.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Goes to this thing. It's called.
You remember what it's called?
It's like on everybody's sweatshirt. Everybody wears this damn sweatshirt where they went on in 5th grade field trip with their class, and you sleep over. And I was so scared to go away.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh.
So scared to leave Long Island and go away with our teachers and our friends that we weren't even friends with, because we had each other.
Yeah.
It was just like me and you.
Yeah.
And I was so scared to go sleep. When I was a kid, I was scared to sleep out.
Oh, really?
Anywhere. Like, I would cry every night I wasn't at mom's, right?
I don't know. Maybe I was just like,
I was so scared to sleep out. It was.
Even at like dad's house?
Yeah. I was so scared.
Oh.
I hated it. Anywhere without mom. Or you too. I mean, but like.
I don't remember.
We went away to this sleepaway camp in maybe the Catskills.
I don't
know where it was, but
tell me. Yeah.
I just remember being so nervous.
I just feel like we were like never around. Like from what I remember, I feel like I was never around you during that like trip.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they separate us? Oh, that would probably made it even more horrible for me.
I don't remember, to be honest. I don't remember you being there. That's why I'm saying, like, I thought maybe they separated us.
They probably did.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's horrible. My poor little self was probably so scared. But when I was little, I was so scared to leave you. I think that is something that really...
I don't really think we actually, like... were aware of like each other's emotions until like later on in life as we talk about these things, because like I never knew that.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I didn't have that issue, so like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I think definitely as we talk about it, like you find out like more things. Like, oh my God, you really felt like
I was not aware
of it. Yeah. But definitely I was so nervous to like leave you or like do something without you or let you down or like anything like that, like you know. I feel like I was always so like, where's Tor, you know. I feel like even always I always wanted to be with you. I always wanted to do something. If somebody even mentioned something without you, I was like, no way, there's no way.
I mean, we were always together. We really didn't do like nothing separate.
Also, I remember this one time Dad took me to a football game without you.
What football game?
I think we went to go see the Jets.
Really?
Yeah, with Uncle Boz.
My gosh.
Dad, and Uncle Boz. I'm pretty sure we went to go see a Jets game. And like, I'm there with just them two and myself. And I don't think that you were there.
I was
there?
definitely
Do you remember?
not there.
Yeah, I don't think you were there. And I remember being so scared. Like, I was young. I had to be like, maybe in 5th grade.
I do not.
And I was
Where was I? Did I even
nervous.
get that opportunity?
No, probably not. They didn't give it to you. We were in the cool club.
Really? I don't remember that. Or getting the option to go.
Yeah, I was so nervous. I was always nervous not to be with you, not to be around you. Like, you know how people walk into school on the first day and they're nervous to be alone?
Yeah.
You know, or like not have their friends.
Those
like,
first day jitters, yeah.
Yeah, like I felt like that would
All the time?
That's how I would feel when I was not with you. Like I had like the first day jitters without you. Like
Oh, really?
always. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe I just blocked it out because I didn't like it, but like I don't remember us not being together. Like I would have never known that story of like you going to the Jets game. I had no idea.
I wonder what you were doing at that point.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
You can't think
You
of one
leaving.
time you were alone without me when you went to go do something when you were little.
No, do you remember like somewhere I went?
No, I don't.
No.
Do you remember when we were kids and we went to go to that that beauty place where we dressed up and got our hair done?
Yes.
Oh my
With Grandma?
God. Yeah, with Grandma and Aunt Deb.
Aunt Deb,
I
yeah.
hated that. I hated that. They made me put like makeup on and
Yeah.
gems and like did my hair.
Yep.
And like made me put on like this cute outfit.
We
And-
looked cute.
oh boy, I hated that.
Really?
They made me get my makeup done and my hair done.
You didn't want to do it.
No.
Did you say you wanted to do it?
We sat on those little stools. What was it like?
You have a better memory than I do because I do not remember a lot of this. I
what
remember
was
going.
it called? Like Bippity Boppity Booped?
No, that's in Disney. I don't remember what this one was
Oh.
called, but that's like the Disney thing.
Yeah, I hate. Oh my God.
Damn.
So horrible. They made me dress up and do what I did not want to do.
Yeah, you have a better memory than I do because I do not remember one time that like I went somewhere and you didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm trying to think of like somewhere that you would have gone that I didn't. None. You have no recollection of anything.
No.
It's just gone.
No, I'm trying to think. Not really, no.
You went to basketball camp without me.
Basketball camp?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Jerry?
Like Jerry,
Growing
you would
Jerry?
go to. Yeah.
I remember that.
Was I just not allowed? Maybe I wasn't good enough.
You weren't allowed? I just don't think you wanted to go. You wanted to go?
Yeah, I was always so like, oh my God, my sister's so good. She's going to basketball camp with an NBA basketball legend going to get trained. And I'm like over here like, I don't think I'm good enough to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you... Oh, I mean, I asked Mom to like go because I remember Madison would always go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Madison, I talked about it with her and then I was like, oh, look up this person. I don't even know how I started
I
going.
wanted to
but
go
like,
so bad and I was so like jealous of you getting to go.
what would you do when I was at basketball camp?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe just watch.
No, you definitely left. No one was there with me. I remember that for a fact.
It was scary. Was it scary?
No, because I was doing something.
Gotcha. So if it
I wasn't
kept you
just
off your
sitting there.
mind,
Yeah, and being there was very
stressful.
Yeah, it was very stressful. Great opportunity. I love basketball going, but being there, like you have to work so hard that it was like almost like
Yeah, I remember doing it for the first time, like with you and being scared, like, oh, these people are good.
yeah, no, they're serious and
Yeah.
you have to work. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, but I don't really remember not being with you.
I do.
Besides like that,
I
that
think
was a little bit
maybe it
older.
just maybe I remember so much because it just scared the living crap
see, it
out of me.
didn't. Yeah, and I don't remember like it scaring me at all.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it scared me.
I mean, I don't remember not being together. Maybe I blocked it out. That's how scared I was.
I think that maybe. But I feel like you would remember it more. I feel like if it's a fear of yours, like you remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like if something's a fear, but I think that also like hurt me later on in life because I was always like scared to be alone. Like that's why our individuality didn't come till later in life because we were so scared to
scared to
go
be-
out on our own and be our own.
Yeah, but even now, I feel like you're more not confident, but like you're more like able to be by yourself. I feel like I always vibe off you,
And I feel
You're
like I
more-
built that. Like I genuinely feel like I've built like that's come through like
like working out, discipline,
working, slowly working to do things on your own. Because I mean, growing up,
Now
if
we
you don't
just
have
learn.
somebody,
Yeah.
you're used to it. If you do have somebody all the time, you're not used to it, and you're like sitting in the car alone. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
like I don't have
Right.
somebody. You know, I'm supposed to just drive by myself. That sounds crazy.
right.
But I feel like I've definitely had to. It's something that I've had to learn, whereas other people never had to learn that, had to be on their own.
Later on in life.
Like
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
had to learn how to be on your own, how to deal with things on your own.
At 20 years old.
At 20 years old, yeah. So I think that that plays a huge disadvantage for us because we've had to like learn to be on your own, learn to step out of your comfort zone, learn to do something even when you have anxiety and you don't want to do it.
Yeah, but being a twin is like, that is like not like, even though that's a disadvantage, being a twin is like has such an advantage because like
I agree.
I greatly feel that like if everyone had the opportunity to feel what it's like to be a twin, everyone would be a
You'd
twin.
exponentially grow yourself 10 times. You have a business partner. You have somebody who will always work out with you, motivation.
Yeah.
If I see you're not doing good, I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you see me not doing good, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You'll tell me, you know?
Exactly.
So I feel like
someone to pull you, someone to push you, someone to drive you. Yeah.
Every which way.
Study buddy, gym partner, go out person, go to the store, drive you somewhere if you don't want to drive, like everything.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that. I feel like if you've ever
advantage.
wanted to duplicate yourself
Yeah.
and 10x your company, having a twin is the way to do it right now.
Yeah.
You know, not 10 years from now when you can actually clone yourself. We're ahead of the game in the sense that like we've already cloned ourselves and we can 10x ourselves.
Yeah. So it's definitely an advantage to be a twin. There's even though like disadvantage of like maybe not having friends, I would take being a twin.
Oh yeah,
10
me too.
times
I would
over.
definitely. I would definitely take being a twin over, you know, if you have a small circle, it's good and bad. I mean, obviously your network is your net worth, but you know, at the same time, if you have too many people around you, there's too many people become leeches and
Drain you.
Yeah. So I feel like having a twin and having a small circle is definitely an advantage.
Yeah. We've talked about the twin bond, but what happens when people start comparing us? Next episode, we're diving into the challenges of always being measured against each other. Who's smarter, who's stronger, who's the better twin?
We'll share our personal experiences, how we've handled it, and why comparison isn't always a bad thing. Stay tuned.